I was a very bored illustrator. So I finally decided one night that I sit down and write my own stories so that I could do the illustrations I want. And it took me another few years to realize that I'm a much better writer than I am as an illustrator. I'm often asked, how different is your life now? And I have to say, it's vastly different, because I raised my children in a sleepy little countryside in Germany. So when we came here, the privilege of living in Los Angeles, and especially here in the hills, in Beverly Hills, you can have both. And I don't have to decide, oh, I would like to live in the country, oh, I would like to live in a big city. And I think that's bliss. When I wrote some of the last chapters of Inkheart, I looked so much forward to kill one of my major villains. I will not say whom, but I so looked forward to kill him. I was like, oh my God, this will be such a blast. And then he got away. I write that chapter and he gets away. I couldn't believe it. So I was like, what does that mean? Is there another story waiting somewhere about him? And I think if I ever return to this world, he will be the one who draws me back, because his story is not told. And it's very interesting that a story very often leaves those doors open. I wake up in the morning and I hear the hummingbirds. And then I read my newspaper, and then I mostly start somewhere around 10 when everything else is done. And then I work until Ben comes home from school, because I really find it very important that the moment my son steps into the house, I'm a mother, I'm not a writer. And he knows I get obsessed from time to time, and he notices, and then he says, Mom, you can go for another hour to the writing house, it's okay. And he jumps on the trampoline outside or whatever. But I try to really show to the children, I know I'm obsessed with writing, I love to do this, but I love you even more. And let's say maybe it's California, because this is a writer's dream, to have the space to hang all your ideas on the wall, to have all your books around you, all the things that children sent me, all these treasures. And I think part of that was the reason for the explosion of ideas in my mind. So instead of working on one book, I'm at the moment, I'd say, work on 4 projects. And I cannot write down all the ideas I have. Children very often ask, Cornelia, what do you need as a writer? And I always tell them, you need one thing. You need a piece of paper. And if that doesn't work, at least have a pen which writes on skin. Because if the idea comes, for God's sake, write it down. Because it will be gone when you come home. They go like soap bubbles. They are given for a second. And when you don't grab them, they're gone again. And you will never find them again. So what I do is I write them down on every scrap on my skin, on whatever I find them. And I have moleskin notebooks with me most of the time. And I have files and files and files full of projects and books. So each time I have something where I think, there's something in there, I write it down. Sadly, nevertheless, I forget some of them. I guess it is from the fact that I'm an illustrator that I always also have to see the worlds. I'm just creating and get myself some new images into my head. It's a very interesting thing with a book. You collect it like little things, and you fill a treasure chest, and then after a while, when you fill the chest, you can start understanding the story. And I have this very irrational belief that a story has only one face, and you have to find that face. And if you write it the wrong way, it will not have the impact it could have. So it's always about finding the right path through the labyrinth of ideas you have and of inspiration, and to see, no, the story just tries to fool me. Okay, that's not where I should go. So it's a very magical process, and I felt very much like Fenolio myself, being ruled by my character, being driven by the story. I had no idea it would be a trilogy. I thought it would be just one book, and then they suddenly told me. So the story was all there. It's very easy to write, and an incredible adventure. But with Inkheart, it feels that maybe in a few years, because I have about 5 other projects lining up, maybe I feel like I have to tell that bad guy's story, or the story of, Maggie being grown up or whatever. I don't know yet. And the world, of course, is so formed now that I can go back very easily. I always say I will never be able to write all my ideas. It's just impossible to do that in one life. So the pushy ones and the strongest ones and the ones which really are very inspiring and take shape quite easily are the ones who then suddenly step towards you and say, that's the one you will spend your next 2 years with. I have a lot of fun.